Will it feed back if I have this the stream on?
Everybody say hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Oh.
So, can everybody hear us? If you're watching this live stream, can you hit the comments and just let us know you can hear everything okay? And see us okay and all that
I
good
just
stuff?
got a text from a friend who says that he can hear it.
Oh, is that kid?
No. It's a secret.
Oh, me too.
You do too. Everybody's getting text messages.
Hey, we have to give a quick shout out.
Let's do
Larry
it.
Villela, ADK Microphones. We are using the fabulous ADK
Let's give it up for Larry.
Z-Mod
Larry. We got nothing but love for Larry.
TS47.
And this is a vocal mic used on the record, right?
It is.
Right
that,
here.
That very microphone. Yes.
Awesome. It's
So-
quite pretty.
I'm pretty sure this is the highest quality mic that's ever been used on a... I
Probably. Probably.
Hashtag overkill.
Upgrade from the computer speaker for sure.
That's
or
right.
mic for sure. Awesome. All
I'm
right,
trying to read the comments here. I
Okay.
can't comment on my phone. I
Yeah, I
can't
don't-
figure it out, but
yeah,
I can see you talking.
So it's a good segue. If you're watching the video cast, there's a little comment box there. You can log in either via Twitter or just bypass that altogether and just leave comments. We're going to be taking questions from you guys, so just put whatever questions you may have in that comment section. We've got some friends over this side off the camera who are going to be going through it and feeding it to us in a very secret manner.
Hey!
And then we will... Alright. So, I'm assuming everybody can hear us and see us. Is that right?
Yep.
We
This would be like an unfocused group.
Very much so.
I got
Alright.
you. I got you on that one.
Thank you.
Awesome. Alright, so we probably should, we'll be going about 45 minutes to an hour or so, the very most, listening to the
What?
whole album. I know.
Whoa.
It's going to be a long one. Alright,
I got lunch in 10
I know, right?
minutes.
Who's bringing lunch? Is anyone bringing lunch? Okay, so let's just jump right in, man. I mean, so why don't you guys talk a little bit about just the we'll go into the individual songs, but let's maybe just kick us off with Oxygen as a concept. What were you thinking? And then we'll listen to some of these tracks.
What were you thinking? Let's see. So I think the album name came from the song, the song Oxygen, and the tagline of the chorus says "more than oxygen." I think I said this in the snippet app actually, but
I like that part.
You like that?
That was good.
In the snippet app. But I don't know. I just like the idea, the name. It just had a cool kind of. I don't know. It had a cool thing to it.
And it was like a highly scientific process from taking more than out, right? And just going by.
Yeah, I thought oxygen sounded cooler, but more than oxygen was the concept.
Right.
So I just thought the name Oxygen was cool.
Yeah.
And apparently 1,000 Foot Crutch thought the same thing. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
You're asking for introductions.
All right, introduction.
Oh,
Thank you for leading the witness here. All right, so why don't we start? We'll go that way. Mike, why don't you kick us off?
All right, I'm Mike Johns. I play drums and do other things that have an Apple logo on them.
Hey!
I'm Roman V, play keys.
Peter Burden, I play bass. Taylor Gall, one of the worship leaders at Bayside, and I co-wrote on Heartbeat.
Corbin Phillips, co-wrote on Heartbeat and On Our Side, and I'm a worship leader at Bayside as well.
Teddy Pendergrass. Lead vocals.
Love it.
Lead vocals and guitar.
I'm not on the band at all. CJ, I play spoons.
And I'm Lee. I'm the president of this daycare.
And then we've got this amazing tech team. Kind of, you guys don't even see them, but they're incredible. So we'll give a shout out to these guys as well, man. So
Josh E, Little Feet.
that's right. All right, we good? Let's jump in, man. Let's listen to some music, man.
Let's
So
do
let's listen to some tracks. We'll throw on Oxygen first, and then we'll let the band take it from there.
All right.
Ready?
You can turn it up one click so we can hear it too. On monitor.
One click.
Is this still on now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
Oh my god.
You good, bro?
Alright. I love that fiddle tone in the chorus. It's so, like, it's a total, like, listening to, like, inspiration starting with the song.
Oh yeah. Is that good? You love it?
Yeah.
Goddamn bud.
I think we're good.
Obviously, this has like that 80s kind of influence to it, the synth bass. Kind of ASM and guitars. I like this. Offbeat. Chang. Chang.
Chang's chicken.
Love it. This is cool too if you listen on a system that's got good low end.
Yeah.
We actually used the kick sample in the chorus that we added to the drum kit, so the low end pumps up when the chorus hits. It's almost trying to get like this part, real thump in there.
Solo. Yeah, something solo.
I was trying to come up with something that had some like this angsty feel, built a little tension all the way to the end, and then really finish it off with it. So, it's funny, I wrote that solo in a hotel room. I had a little laptop with an Apogee duet and my guitar. Roman remembers this. I had my in-ears in, and it was like, I had to come up with all the solos for the album in 2 days, so I was just like kind of stressing and going, what am I going to do? And so that was the one solo I actually kept from, I played it in here, but wrote it in the...
This part's cool.
You know what's funny? The first take I did of that, I thought it was like, I go, what, I breathe in right there? And Colby goes, yeah. And the breath, the first one sounded so ridiculous. It was like, isn't that cool? And he's like, no.
I was honestly curious, how many breaths did you have to take to get that one, like, sit in perfect?
I don't remember.
Because I could just, like, I wish there was a video of you just going,
Yeah, right. That's too slurpy. We need
wrong,
Yeah.
slurpy.
It-
You actually whistled a little bit in that one, so...
I won't say what he said it sounded like, but he was like, it needs to not sound like...
I can imagine.
It sounded like... It does not need to sound like that.
Dig it. Alright, alright. Yeah, let's hit the next track. Meanwhile, if you've got any questions, just go ahead and tee them up.
You want to know where Norm is?
No, I'm sorry.
Norm, where's Norm?
He's downstairs. He is. Yeah, he's actually here.
Is he here?
Yeah, we're working on the instrumental album.
Oh, dude.
Next
Wake him
We're
up.
gonna get him.
Okay, next song.
Wake him up.
Next
We don't want to wake
Alright,
up
next song.
sleeping ugly.
So we got Made New. That's the next track. You got any questions, throw them up in the comments.
We've been shooting a music video the last
Yeah. Tell us
couple
about
days.
this.
Yeah. Music video. My first like legit music video. Yeah. It's fun. You know what's funny? When you see music videos, you're like, oh, that looks fun, and like,
Yeah.
they're hard to do.
Are they?
Yeah, because
I've never seen
when you're, it's like, all right, everybody, act natural. They did one where they had this big jib arm camera, like, I don't know, that thing, that 30 feet or something.
Yeah.
And it's shooting over the top of us. We're in this circle, and then the guy said, "Hey, we're gonna do some takes with you guys looking up at the camera." And we were like, "Ah!" You feel dizzy and disoriented.
Well, they did just like for a visual effect, I guess. Like half the shoot, we were playing it at double speed.
Oh,
Like we were playing the song at twice as fast.
So when they slow it down, we're singing
Yeah.
it correct, playing it correct, but it looks really cool.
So you guys are hearing the music.
So it's like,
sped up, everything.
Hold my head up.
You know, wait.
yeah, it's
You're playing it.
yeah, totally. But we've got to look at it into the. You look like that all the time. That's true.
I looked at Mike and was like, "Hey, and you thought you'd never get to be in a band like August Burns Red?"
I tried to hide that I'm a total metalhead, but it came out.
That's right. That's right. Meanwhile, Roman, you were still just.
He was just holding it.
That's epic. All right.
Doing this double time was fun.
Which you totally did. I thought it was awesome.
It was all visual. I'm sure it would have sounded dreadful.
I would have liked to have a feed of what that all sounded like, actually. Recorded a couple times.
Oh, we have
I
that.
already have a low enough self-esteem. So this was a cool, when we were writing this bridge, I wanted to put that scripture in here. I like that part. I think it's good to get as much scripture in songs as possible. When we were shooting this, I couldn't figure out whether to sing the ad-libs or the regular chorus.
Are you guys allowed to like talk about the concept of Made New, like as a video, like what you guys are kind of thinking about that before?
You know what's funny? I haven't seen it yet. So I actually don't. I told him I didn't want to know.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just want to watch it.
I was curious why they needed that much like Care Bears clothing for us, but I'm sure it's all gonna work out.
It's all gonna work out.
It's gonna be really cool.
All right, I got a couple questions. So first off, Joel was the one who asked about Norm. So Joel, thanks for the question. We'll see if we can get Norm up here in a little bit. He's literally in the house, I guess.
Yeah,
So
we're
he's
working on
somewhere.
the
All right,
on an
cool.
instrumental album.
Yeah, so then some people have asked about the instrumental album. So can you give us like 2 seconds on the instrumental album?
Yeah, we're it's way overdue, and so we started writing songs for it probably a year ago.
Yeah,
Is
about
that
a
about-
year, maybe a little more.
And I had a bunch of songs I'd written years and years ago, and most of them we didn't end up using. So me, Mike, Roman, and Norm just got in here and started literally just noodling, let's just play some stuff. And there were days where we wrote 4 songs in a day, just and so coming back to them, it's just really exciting. The stuff sounds great, and so we're going to basically the rest of this week, the first part of next week, get all of the arrangements finalized, and then we're all really excited about this, Mike included.
Yeah.
That we've got just one of the best drummers on the planet scheduled to cut drums, Vinny Caliuta. We'll be doing that down in Orange County.
Incredible.
In October.
Yeah.
So that should be a blast.
Wow.
So and we'll get a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We may even see if we can sort out doing something live like this from that studio.
Would you guys dig that? I mean, do you guys think you'd be interested if we did a live, like from the studio, like recording?
It'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, man.
So it's going to be totally different than anything I've done, and the idea was, you know, I knew that when Oxygen came out, it was a new sound, and that I would get some criticism about a perceived guitar difference.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I promise there's more guitar on this album than any I've ever done. It's just done differently.
Yeah.
And still put guitar solos on every song, just because I think if you can add to the composition that way, it's good. But I think you and I talked about this. I want to go this way and that way at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it was a kind of a little bit of a refreshed sound, maybe updated a little bit. But honestly, it's all got to be real for what I like, you know, and what I feel is authentic. And I wanted my kids to dig it on Oxygen.
Yeah.
And just stuff that made you want to like move, and that also just grabbed your heart at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I knew that fitting guitar into that the way I've conventionally done it was going to be a bigger challenge. And I remember seeing Toby Mac we played in Alaska for Luis Palau's first festival up there, and his crusade. It was great, and we were flying back, and Toby grabbed me in the lobby. We were just chatting, and he goes, "Hey, I heard some of the stuff off your new project. Really like it." And I said, "Yeah, I just gotta go home and do solos now." And he goes, "Well, it'll be easy for you." And I said, "You know what, dude? I feel like it's gonna be the hardest album that I've played guitar solos on, just because I can't just plug into a half stack and shred over it. It's gonna be has to be a lot more thought out." So I tried to do a little bit of different, you know, things, some different things with layering on the solos. There's some stuff with a lot of like octave levels on top, you know, where we just stacked them on top of each other, just to give it a different texture. And And then I also knew we were going to be doing this instrumental project where you throw the rule book out the window and just do whatever you want. So I'm excited about that.
That's cool.
It'll be fun.
So instrumental album is definitely definitely
and I
coming.
think spring.
Okay, spring.
Yeah.
So you heard it from the man himself.
There it is.
That's what we're trying to do. All right.
Oxygen Deluxe before that.
Oxygen Deluxe before that.
Yeah.
I just feel like the hype man right now. Just echoing.
I'm gonna let you.
Boy,
finish.
3-4, hit it.
So a couple things. We do have some giveaways we'll do. So we've got some shirts, some other stuff we'll give away to the first 10 people right now that retweet this link. We'll find a way to get you some shirts and some other cool Lincoln stuff. So
You buying?
One shirt.
I just want to. This
And it's the one CJ's wearing.
Right now. Yeah, exactly. It's the shirts we're literally all
Thanks,
wearing.
Integrity
That's awesome.
Music.
Thanks, yeah. Big shout out to Integrity Music.
My kids don't feed themselves.
After this next song, we'll talk a little bit about gear. So we've got questions from Joe, who's out in Toronto watching this.
Nice.
Rod has some questions. I don't know where Rod's from, but we'll get to some gear questions right after this next track.
Shout out to Joel.
And we gave a shout out to Joel about Norm, right? Yeah, we
Yes.
did that. All right, so let's listen to this next track. We're gonna listen to "There Is Power."
Oh, yeah.
Let's fire up that track.
I love starting this one live because it's like we both start at the same time. No intro. It's just different.
yeah.
I think it feels really cool.
Yeah. This is the first song we ever played live
Yeah.
off the album.
Yeah.
It was
In
quite a
church,
while ago.
Like
right?
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are testing this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was actually when
You
Mia was
introduced it.
here too.
Yeah,
right?
Mia was here. We wrote this song, brought it, did it on a weekend, and it was basically as it is with a different bridge.
Yeah.
And which we'll use the original bridge somewhere else on a different song. But what's that? It was a cool bridge. It's just for this song, it needed something different. I like what we have better for this song. Oh, okay. Yeah, you just leave it off.
You can hit dim.
Or hit dim, yeah.
Turn it up and then hit
The
dim.
bottom right. So it was one of those instant connects. Like we didn't. There's songs as like worship leaders. You guys we have to like teach them, and if you don't teach them, the experience suffers. Like people. And it was weird. We played. So we did it that first weekend. And I thought it went really good, and then we never played it again until we were done recording it. I don't know. Where did we do it? At Thrive?
Thrive. Yeah.
We did
I think
our
Thrive
Thrive
was the first time.
And we came off stage, and I remember looking at, and I didn't teach it. So we taught Live to Praise You, and taught Made New, and then didn't teach There's Power, went straight into it. And I was kind of curious if that would be weird. Yeah. And we came off, and I went, have we been playing this? Like I was like, it was like they knew it from the first lyric, and which was really.
Is that like a rare experience for the band? Like
Totally.
Yeah. When they were singing, and then by the time we hit the chorus, it was like, they already know this, and I was going, this. I literally confused me. I thought maybe I'd forgotten we'd done it, or it's crazy.
So what's a trip to me is you guys saying that the bridge you originally had is actually different than the bridge on this track.
Yeah.
Where are we close? To it?
So that was the bridge.
That was right there. So I thought I heard you say like there's quite a bit of time that it took just to write the bridge alone. Like,
Yeah, that was like probably the fifth one we wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, it took.
It seems like it took you longer to write the bridge than the entire rest of the song.
Oh yeah, the whole song was written in less than an hour.
So this is that song. So the song was written in an hour, but the bridge is like a year or something like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this as writers. When's a song done? It's like painting. When's the last time you dip the brush and paint and go, that's it? And to me, that's far harder than starting a painting.
Yeah.
When you're starting, it's kind of like you got a lot of room and the canvas is white, and it's really figuring out when it's done. And you don't want to finish it early, and you certainly don't want to overpaint it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's the real art to it.
Yeah.
But I think there's an internal thing where you go, like, This is it. And when Mia and I wrote that bridge, we were like, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no doubt. And I think all the other ones we were like, it's good, but it's not there. So this one, what I loved about it was, versus the other one, was the other bridge talks about God pouring out His Spirit, which is awesome, and we need to put that bridge in a song. But this song's about the name of Jesus. And we went, the bridge should really take the whole thought to another level.
Yeah.
And so it talks about the what does it mean in our day-to-day lives that there's power in the name of Jesus. One name can save. One name breaks every chain. So it starts talking about what it means. Yeah. So that's why I think
that's cool.
People maybe when they're listening through a song may not get that right away. But I think subconsciously we pick up that that's a whole thought. The whole song is you could read the lyric through and go, that's a thought that grows over the course of the song. Yeah. And so, and honestly, Mia she's fantastic at that and has really challenged me to, if we'll write a chorus, she'll always want to go back and start at the top of verse 1 and sort of make sure that the song has a good flow to it. And that it's a thought on top of a thought on top of a thought, not just a bunch of random thoughts.
It's building on something. Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm excited about that song.
So Mia helped co-write. In fact, we have a surprise for everybody watching. Mia is actually in the studio with us today. Let's welcome Mia.
Hey guys! Hello! Good day.
I think it's at Mia Fields on Twitter, right? Or something like that.
Oh, crikey!
So, Mia, it's great to have you in the studio with us, man. And,
thanks,
yeah,
Man?
In the studio,
Sorry. Sounded awful. Okay, so
It's a chaos with a lot of boys.
beautiful song. Anyway, Mia, good to have you in the studio.
Yeah, great to be here.
It's me.
It's like when all the kids saw was a man behind the Chuck E. Cheese head.
That's right.
Wait, there's a man behind the...
This is merely a photograph taped to a pencil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's clever, man.
All right.
About the best.
We're gonna work something like that into Christmas. That'll
Illusions. Beautiful. All right, so let's get to a few questions because we've got some people out there in the comment box. So Joe from Toronto, dude, Joe, thanks for just tuning in for one.
Joe's rocking it.
Joe wants to know what pedal gear or gears do you use or did you use for this album?
Sustain pedal.
Roman, the question is to you.
Kick pedal.
Yeah.
I have pedal gas.
Gas.
We used a lot of
Gas pedal. Gas pedal.
Oh, Joe.
Okay, hey,
Sorry, man.
just real quick, I'm texting Norm to see if Norm will come up.
All right.
So let's see. I didn't use much in the way of external pedals for Oxygen. We used a lot of plugins, and I used the Kemper Profiler amp. I think most of the solos were the Kemper, which is fantastic and kind of will become whatever you want it to become. It was really funny. I've used Pod Farm 2 for a long time. Yeah. With Pro Tools, the newest version of Pro Tools, it doesn't. They're not compatible. So, I was in a bit of a panic to go. What am I? I've got all these sounds. Kind of my go-tos. Yeah. So I sat in here for 3 days and worked with different guitar plugins, and ended up using a lot of Waves GTR 3. Which was a plugin I didn't like initially, and I found some stuff that's fantastic in that plugin. And then we used Native Instruments Guitar Rig 5 mainly for effects, so it was like GTR 3 was the amp, and then Guitar Rig 5 was all the effects, and I would use the model stomp pedals in GTR. And sometimes I would put another Guitar Rig 3 our Guitar Rig 5 plug-in in front of the Waves one and just use it for stomps. So you had to do it in an order like you would physically. And but I worked for 3 days coming up with this bank of sounds that we could track with. And Colby came here one day, and I went, you know why everybody says that I get good sounds out of software? And he goes, why? And I went, because I work super hard.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. So you're not just firing up the plugin and then...
No, and it I think I'll do that with every... Like I did that with the pod. I'll take a lot of time to really make it what I'm looking for. And the bottom line is if I can't get a sound that I think sounds great, I won't use it.
Yeah.
So you just have to figure it out and play with gain structure going in and the way that it responds. And for me personally, like Guitar Rig 5 has some great stuff about it. I couldn't find a Marshall amp in there that I would use. Mm-hmm. That's just for me personally.
Sure.
The effects are fantastic. The Vox, the AC30 is really good, but the Marshalls just didn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I do have standards. But you just got to be committed to making it work. And for what we do in the more pop vein, the plugins are just so good.
Yeah.
They work. For the solos, though, hands down, the Kemper was...
Okay.
I've got a Plexi model or profile in there that's killing. It's fantastic. So, and I'm using that a lot on the instrumental.
Cool. So, same question to the guys. So, Rod wants to know, just from the team, I guess, from the whole band, just live or studio, one piece of gear that you're using right now you're just super stoked on.
Man, live... I gotta think about it. I should have started that without... I know better than that.
Anyone. Just.
I mean, for bass live, it's really simple. I think a lot of like, my tone, other than just playing, comes from what kind of Lee's doing at front of house to it. I literally just use either a DI or a Sans amp, and I just boost a few little bass tweaks or some drive on it, and other than that, it's kind of just like sitting into the mix, right? So it's really simple, straightforward for me.
And what kind of bass do you play?
I'm playing a Fender Jazz right now.
Cool.
So.
And you string out a little differently, right?
I do. I actually play a 4-string that's strung starting with the low B, so that I can hit those lower octaves on a lot of these songs. They kind of have, on our side and Sinking Chips, these songs have these very low, just kind of big diamond notes that just carry the song in the choruses. And so with a normal 4-string, you're not going to really be able to find that depth. So I just kind of finagled my bass and strung it differently and tweaked it a little bit, and it works live, and so you kind of just go for it like that.
I just got a text from my buddies at Argosy. So yes, we have to mention the
console table.
The console table, that you've seen in if you've seen any of the shots that we do from the other angle. I've got a fabulous Argosy set up.
It's awesome.
And our Herman Miller chairs, which are lovely.
Quite nice.
Spend a lot of time in those bad boys, so you gotta
man.
get good chairs. But they're fantastic. You need studio furniture.
Beats
all
the
the
floor.
We love it. It's fantastic. So appreciate those guys. Thanks for texting, you guys.
Awesome.
There's a reason that everybody just thinks of Argosy when you think of studio consoles.
It's killer. I've had other stuff in here and then got this, and it was like, that's it. I'm good. Yeah, it's fantastic. And that's what we got down at the church too.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we're gonna keep this thing moving. Oh,
can I have a tie for gear?
Yeah.
For touring gear. Okay, here's a tie. So, since we fly most places that we play out, I don't bring a full drum kit. I just bring cymbals and snare. And so the snare I'm using is it's a Risen drums, basically version of a 6.5-inch Black Beauty with die-cast hoops on it, and it just is so great. Like, foundationally for me, knowing that that's going to feel the same everywhere, like, I love it. And like, the little secret with that is I use the Pure Sound 30-strand snare wires under it, so that it just fattens it up a little. But my ride, it's a Peisty 20 Masters medium ride, 21 inches, and it's the only ride I've ever played that has a great bell, just like shoulder, normal stroke, and crash. It's just incredibly versatile. So since we're really like weight conscious when we're flying, being able to just bring one thing that I know I can use all those different ways is amazing.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome. We also have just guys who are working either in the studio or live sound, just helping mix the band. I mean, you guys obviously depend on guys like Lee incredibly and Aaron as well.
Yeah.
So Lee, like, for the guys who are out there who are into the mixing stuff, like
Yeah.
what gear, what are you excited about?
My favorite piece of gear is this flash drive. So this is my console of choice. It is.
He's not lying. You're not lying.
Yeah, I'm not lying. This is every preset for every microphone input console that we'll ever use. So
we use different brands of consoles
Yep.
at different dates.
yep, I'm
And
console agnostic.
and you've got show files.
Yeah. So I have show files for all the consoles and just pop it in, recall it, and we use the same mic package, and it's good to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right,
And that
thank
is
you guys.
backed up several places.
It is, I'm sure. I'm
That's
sure.
Important.
Norm!
Come
Come in! People were asking about you.
Norm.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Look.
What are you eating? Is that cereal?
I'm having some breakfast on you.
Here, get
Norm,
in
just
the
come here.
picture.
Come in,
Just say hi.
Norm,
Just
just
say
say hi
hi.
to everybody real quick.
Hey everybody.
Understand,
The band.
folks. Norm, we got room for you.
We gotta roll those.
Come on, come
Hang
on.
out, dude.
He's gonna finish
All
his
right.
cereal.
He'll
then
finish his
he'll
cereal.
come.
He'll join it. All right, so we're gonna hit the next song. I'm
We
getting all the
we
cues.
skipped that one.
Oh, we did,
Oh,
didn't
we
we?
skipped
Also,
I
the
praise
first
you.
one.
Do you guys want to do Live to Praise You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Live to Praise You.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. My bad.
Me and Colby wrote this about a week before Easter, and then we went. We should do this at our Easter service.
Yeah, this is a
And
jam.
it was so fun. It was a good test drive
Yeah.
just to see
Oh,
it.
they responded.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
because you know the sound of it. This was the first track that we recorded for the album, and it kind of shaped the sonic footprint. Doing something, those real rhythmic guitars, which are far harder to play than they sound. To play them in time,
Yeah.
with, you know, and there's two of them, so either me and Corbin or me and Josh will do those. But they're moving your pick hand that way definitely takes a little. So we wanted to do something that was just made you want to nod your head, crank it up in the car, and so the question was, will this work in church? It sounds, you know, like the style of it's not like anything I've done, not like the thing you would hear.
The first time we played it was at the mall too.
It was at the mall,
Yeah,
at Easter outside.
That's cool.
100
Yeah.
degrees
It was
outside.
outside.
Everybody was digging it.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
rocking. So that was a good sign. So we do this one in church. We do Made New in church. We do There's Power. We do On Our Side. We do Let It Be Known. Obviously, it's a cover. Heartbeat. And we haven't done Whole Again at Home. I haven't even released comes to right.
Right.
And
Not yet.
That has been going great on the road. Just really.
My favorite
Those
one.
triplets. Just want to shout out to that. That's so fun.
It's interesting, man, because on this album you've got, you know, songs that I think all these songs that churches can sing, but then there's some that, like you guys are saying, where you literally can put them in the car and just kind of just jam out to them. How much of that are you trying to craft, or like how much of that is by design when you're first starting the project? You kind of have that goal in mind.
Yeah, like a lot. You know what happened? Okay, so my kids, over the last few years, I've done a few albums in 4 years.
Yeah.
They've like, they were growing up, they're getting more into music, and after Michael Jackson's This Is It came out,
Yeah.
like my kids were just, it just resonated with them, kind of just, and we were driving around listening to some MJ, and I just was marveling at like music that was recorded 25, 30 years ago, that you just, it's good, it's uplifting stuff, and so I don't know, I just had that in my mind, and as Colby and I talked about the sound for the album, it was like, you know, could we incorporate what I do on the guitar with that type of drive, and kind of, you know, and then putting scripture, and this is scripture what we're singing right here, the joy of the Lord is our strength. And going, gosh, we get people singing that with that kind of contagious groove kind of thing. So, yeah, it was
cool.
it was very on purpose to have some music that was pumping, that was either kind of anthemic, praise-driven, or very kind of grab your heart.
I
think something like not a lot of people notice is, or might realize is that like
Pastoral.
a lot of like thought and care and conversation and intentionality went into the stylistic shift on this record. That wasn't just this is cool now, so we should. That's like a very like debated and labored over, like planned out decision. It's one I think we all really believe in.
Yeah, is there a reason why? I mean, I'm sure there is, but
yeah, I mean, I think whenever you, for me anyway, it's like it's missional and it's calling driven and going, what is it? You know, what's the next thing supposed to sound like, look like, feel like? And I think it's a good point that Mike made. It was on purpose.
Yeah.
And you know, along with the great comments that we read, I obviously see the negative ones. Fortunately, there haven't been very many, but I think for anybody who's not a fan of it, that's okay with me. This sounds this way because this was absolutely the intention. I mean, we got done with the album and it sounds exactly like I hoped it would.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
And so again, I knew that there would be people who would go, it doesn't sound like old school rock. And I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't. It wasn't supposed to. But it doesn't. You know, I told Colby I didn't want to lose. I mean, this whole band, all of the people that we have, whether at church or in the road band or whatever iteration of that we have, we're all musicians and we care about musicality and making sure that the music is executed at a high level. And so that's just, it was a stretching out, going, I want to stretch the boundaries. This happened, you think about it, 20 years ago in church. Everybody thought what we were doing was a jam. And I was like, how could it ever sound any different than this?
Yeah.
This is it, man.
So good,
Blessed be the name of the Lord. You know, it's like, this was going to be the thing from now till the end of time.
Right.
And then this whole other kind of a little more rock infused, real U2 influenced worship came in. And then it was like, how could it ever be different than this is it?
Yeah.
That whole other thing we were doing, we make fun of it now.
Yeah.
This is really, now we're serious.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole kind of Euro Coldplay. So it's like, okay, that other thing, no, we didn't, now we're really getting it.
Yeah.
And we start to see that it's an evolution that's going to keep changing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like whatever role I can play in being somebody who helps bring the next change along, awesome. So that's where other songs like Never Stop, Oxygen, things like going, I don't know, could these work in church? Let's push the boundaries a little.
No, that's awesome. So on that, like especially songs like this, where like On Our Side, a lot of these tracks really where you're talking about they do push the boundaries a little bit. Collaboration, that's played a pretty big role in you guys exploring those sounds, right? So like on this track, you got guys like Corbin, and I'm not sure who else was kind of helping you in that process. Can you talk a little bit about just collaborating in general, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit about Corbin's role and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one of the visions for a long time has been, it's whether it's what we do at church or these type of albums, it's not me, but we, and going, who's showing up, who are showing a gift and a calling to write, and certainly these guys have, and they started getting together weekly and writing, and On Our Side was a song that Corbin started. It was really, this chorus is his thing. And I just heard it and was like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. And so it was a cool deal. And I was like, hey, are you be up for monkeying with it? And it was originally a little bit different. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And so we worked hard and rewrote the verses how many times?
Oh, at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, whole sets of verse lyrics. But that was a cool. I mean, that was one of the highlights for me. Yeah. Is to get to co-write with these guys and see songs make it onto the album.
What was that like for you, man?
It was really cool. That was kind of my first like legit co-writing experience. And that song was cool too because we came in and it wasn't, we completely changed kind of the theme of where we were going with the song, was kind of based on what was going on in your life at the moment. And we had a couple late nights in the studio just going through, and it's just, it's really cool. It's like you get to be so authentic with those lyrics because it meant something. There was a heartfelt need that we were writing about.
That's cool.
People need to know that God's on their side.
Yeah.
It was funny too when we had that little theme change. We were having trouble with the verses.
Yeah.
And then we switched a couple words in the chorus, and in the verses, it was like we could have written 50 verses for that.
We did.
Yeah. But it feels good to work hard and know that you were thoughtful about, like, I can honestly say every word and every phrasing and every melody on this entire album is thought through. And none of it was like just throwaway.
For sure.
And it was like, we need to mean what we say. And so I feel real proud of it on that one.
Yeah. Interesting. No, that's great. It's interesting. Someone brought up the question earlier, like just how much your own personal experience gets interwoven into these songs. And this one in particular, it sounds like you guys, like there's just some life stuff happening too, where maybe some of these songs really start to take on a different meaning, a more profound meaning even for you guys personally, through like as you're going through that process.
And I think sometimes it's the song will come like from a specific place, and other times I get to be a translator, which is a cool thing too. That's what Heartbeat is. Heartbeat's their song. And you know, it really is. It's these guys have that song, and I was like, man, that's just a killer song. They wrote it for. Talk about that New Mexico thing.
Yeah, so we went into the Mexico Church of the Mexico mission trip. We take our high school students and a bunch of adults and college students, and we were writing on the theme for the year, which was Heartbeat, about being united with God's heartbeat and that missional theme. And so myself and Corbin and Peter, we kind of looked through that idea and ended up with the song Heartbeat, and we ended up playing it down on the mission trip, and it was just a really cool. There's not a ton of like worship songs that we've been playing that really have that missional theme, and so that was a cool experience. And then, you know, when you jumped on board, that was super cool just to, you know, see your process and like you said, kind of your translation of it, kind of take it even more of the direction. We had a different bridge on it originally, but taking even more direction of kind of that hands and feet thinking of reaching out to the lost and broken.
Yeah, and that was, I think that's cool too, like, if anybody out there's a songwriter, hopefully one thing you're taking away from this was you got two guys who wrote a song and the song was complete, and they'd actually even played it in Mexico, and it worked wonderfully well. And I, strictly from a craft standpoint, from a songwriting standpoint, I saw a couple of things that I thought could be improved. There was a couple little things in the verses where I went, maybe those are repeat lines. The idea was something, you know, slightly different lyric, but same idea. So maybe we could. And that these guys were open to it and went, hey, we welcome that. And so that was a cool thing for me to get to kind of join in what they were doing, and it was awesome, just their attitude and how they approached it, and we're like, gosh, we welcome that. And some of you might be going, well, of course I'd be that way, but a lot of people aren't. You know, you really like, it's my song, and so I've just tried to, as I write, be as open as I can to making the song as good as it can be, whether I write it by myself or whether I write it with several people. Just really keeping the song at the top of the list. And if you look at, you know, a lot of songs that are written that we sing in churches, in some cases, there's a lot of people who spoke into those and who had a part in writing those. And so I just appreciate your guys' hearts being really open to, hey, whatever needs to happen. And so that was cool. But I just, what I hear in this is not those changes, but I just hear, I hear it's cool. It's like when I see next gen people coming up and taking the reins and making it happen is
Yeah.
one of the coolest things. So that represents an awful lot on this record.
Yeah. I think that's very cool. So let's go to some questions. So Brett says, how do you get started doing what God called you to do as a full-time position and not as a part-time passion? T, that's good. Probably you guys. You got something?
Yeah, we're all, everyone sitting here, you included. I mean, we're all church guys at the end of the day, and I think it started in all of our cases. It started with serving. I started in volunteer, so in volunteer capacity. You did. Romy, I mean, every one of us is just showing up and serving and being about the calling first and trusting that God would sort out what the rest of it looked like. And, so I think it's a lot of times we have to be cautious in that one on designing it out too much.
Yeah.
Some people are real planners, and it's like you just gotta temper that tendency with this, and to go. First step one is, am I serving somewhere off stage, coiling cables, pushing a vacuum, sweeping, setting up, tearing down. Yeah. It's every one of us has done that, and or still do that. And I think when you do worship, and the core of that ministry is to serve. Yeah. So if you're past like serving so that you can go serve, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
So I think that's the core of it, is finding a place that you go, man, I'm here, I'm committed, I'm all in.
Right.
Start serving, and when God wants you to have a full-time spot somewhere, He'll make it happen.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of that, there's obviously some room for godly planning in advance, but God makes it very clear that you should live in today and not worry about tomorrow's cares. And I think so often it's easy to get caught up in where's God's will, what's my 5-year plan and all that. And if you're really just staying in His ways, He's going to put you in His will, and you're staying true to His commandments. And He opens up those doors as He has them fit for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the most difficult to apply pieces of scripture for me, personally, relates to this, and I might get the phrasing a little wrong, but it's humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God that He may promote you at the proper time. Mm-hmm. And I love strategy and planning and just thinking through situations and all that. So to have that just basically go, hey, put your head down. God hasn't forgotten about you. He gave you the gifts in the first place, and definitely didn't do that for no reason. So that's been something I've been trying to learn too, is just being patient with that and trusting Him that He knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's cool.
And our nature will be, why hasn't it happened yet?
Totally.
And every one of us has felt that way, and will feel that way again at some point. And that's a good reminder, it's to go, do I really trust God in this, or do I really feel like I need to remind Him of what I need, and give Him a little set an alarm in His iCal. Hey, remember my promotion, man? I've earned it.
I love it. All right, so we're getting to the end of this thing. We got about 8 minutes or so. It's gone fast, hasn't it?
Yeah, man.
All right, so who do we got? Charlie. Charlie's curious, and this is kind of, I think, somewhat on topic here. Charlie's wondering, did you purposely use more local musicians for this album versus past ones? I'm assuming locals and Bayside guys. I mean, all these guys serve in the same, church. So, any thoughts on that for Charlie?
Yeah, to me, it's go outside of arm's reach if you have to, but there's nobody else I'd rather make music with than these guys and create with. Well, that's true. Hey, this is what we do, yo. Whenever I get sensitive or vulnerable, I go gangster.
What we do, yo.
So, no, I think it's what I get to do with making an album is a great opportunity to, whether it's songs or, you know, Colby had obviously a ton to do with this, and he's kind of a one-stop shop, so he played a ton of the stuff on it, but really it's whatever. It's like, let's go for it, whatever works, you know, and so I was kind of, you know, I told Colby, like, anything you want to use the guys for, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why I would go outside of that. Like the instrumental album, to me is just a more meaningful thing. Like, it's something Norman and I've been talking about for years. I mean, since the first time we played together, we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to get going on it finally.
Yeah.
And to me, it wouldn't make sense to do it a different way.
Right.
And then having, you know, Mike and Roman, they both have a real passion for that kind of music, and you know, I think you gotta watch where I think this can get a little dicey is when you go, I want to do it just because I want to, you know, it's way more heart and no thought.
Yeah. So
it's like, I'm gonna do this because I want to bless somebody, but they have no skill set to do it. We don't go that far.
Right.
It's like, it's got to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
totally makes sense.
And so, but yeah, keeping it in the local team is awesome. So anytime we got to go outside, it's only because we have to. And I think anymore, we really don't have a need for that.
Yeah.
I mean, Vinny, the Vinny Caliuta thing is something we all want to do. Like I said, Mike included.
Yes, that's true.
We're gonna get
I just want to watch him track
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So
yeah,
and that's been part of the plan for a long time. But the cool thing is that Mike's been a big part of the creation of the songs and the sound of it. So
yeah,
it's awesome. And yeah, so
that's cool.
It's cool.
All right, so you got incredible group. Obviously, I think everybody's kind of picking up on. There's a lot of love in this room. It's just thick. You can feel it. Just kidding. But you got great fans too, man. So like, for example, awesome. we threw out, hey, if you retweet this, we got a bunch of names. I'm just gonna stay true to what we said. You got folks like Telly Swain, Matt Bartlett, Oscar at Aussie Design. I don't know who he is, but all right. Scott Singleton, Eric Carlson, Tom Goldson, Teddy the Salmon,
That's
Joel Chinta,
Joey Bag of Donuts,
Fulton Miller, and a bunch of others. These people in particular retweeted that we were doing this.
Awesome, thank you.
So we'll make sure we get you guys something. There's a bunch more that will go. I don't know. Maybe we'll find some pics and just in your room and just send it.
Hey, whatever you take, whatever you want.
Cool.
Norm's got a killer bass you can take.
Yes, Norm is still here. I mean,
Norm's like he's sitting over there.
All right, so let's talk a little bit, because as we're closing out here, you've got some really incredible new things coming up. So you got this conference idea.
Yeah.
Most people have no idea that it's even.
No one has any idea.
Yeah. Now they'll have an idea. For quite some time, I think all of us tend to think kind of strategically, and we have hearts to serve the church first, and see people get developed, all that stuff. So, and we do a lot of conferences, and we've been a part of a lot of great ones, but we had this thing sort of happen accidentally, if you will.
Yeah.
Out in the Midwest last year, where we did this session, like it was like a Q&A session, but the band was on stage, and we didn't have anything planned. We just talked through. We just took questions, and then a really neat thing happened, which was we got to kind of do what we do in real time. So it was a bit of a lab setting. So we started talking about it, and I just couldn't get out of my head, because I went, that's like gold for, if I was coming to something, that's what I would want to see.
Right.
So we had talked about starting a conference that was a whole different conference experience, where everybody who would come would really attend the same conference. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you could go and then take a certain stream of breakouts. Everybody will go to the same 3 general sessions, but may not have a great conference experience outside of that. And we want everybody to attend the same conference together. And so we've got, I think, a fantastic conference coming at the end of February out here at our place.
Okay.
And called Light Conference. And it's kind of that combination of we're called to be the light of the world, and the light bulb being kind of that universal symbol for ideas and creativity.
Yeah.
So,
but you want to show people like
Yeah.
how it's actually done.
yeah, so it's
which
gonna
is super
be
cool.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
crazy. Like literally, you'll be in the general sessions will be like a giant breakout basically.
Yeah.
And so everything we do in those everybody will be mic'd up. There will be cameras at every position.
So wait, when you say everybody, like you're not just talking the band,
Audio guys,
Okay.
video people,
Lighting.
anybody who has a role
Yeah,
in
that's cool.
creating what we're doing will
Yeah.
be mic'd up and have a camera at their thing so you
Yeah.
can see it up on the screens. And then we'll have specific stuff that we'll cover at each of those generals, but then we'll have a time for questions.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to text in a question, and
Mm-hmm.
and we'll take those and go, okay, so we'll do something on sound check, and
Yeah.
how do we do that? How do you make that time effective? Rehearsal, same way. There's a lot of things that we're big on doing prep, and
Yeah.
when we feel like if you're prepared to do something, your stress level's like way lower, and your ability to do what you're there to do is much higher.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? And really get into some of those nuts and bolts. We will do sort of some pre-conference breakouts that deal with specific skill stuff.
Yeah.
But really going, you're not going to show up to a conference and in 2 days, like be transformed beyond belief
Sure.
at your specific skill.
Yeah.
There's other ways to do that take a little more time. But
Yeah.
at the conference, we could transform your team in 2 days.
I love that.
And how to put
That's
the pieces
killer.
together
Yeah.
to go. We showed up as 5 individuals and we left as a band.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ballgame.
What's interesting, because oftentimes you probably have some silo kind of things happening because more around just expertise. Some tech guys understand the tech, music understand music, whatever, but you're talking about a lab of sorts where all these guys are kind of participating in a shared vision, trying to execute like the same goal or the same objective.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
And we'll hit both sides very heavy, which is when you look at what we do, it's, you know, I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody where when you look at, as a team leader, when you look at your team, there's 2 questions to ask with job performance, not one.
Yeah.
It's how did they do and how do they feel? Or how are they doing?
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about both of the sides of the fence, all the interpersonal, the relational things, the heart pieces, the conflicts between tech people and worship people.
No, that
alone.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What?
But how to manage those, how to do
Yeah.
it in a God-honoring way, how to function kind of through the dysfunction of that, and
Yeah.
you know, how to have some more gray zone in your life, and
Right.
but work together. You know?
So it'll be Wednesday night, worship night, and then the next day, all day Thursday, will be the conference.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you're looking at when? Like, when does this?
We
amazing
have
thing happen?
penciled in February 25th and 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you guys will, I'm sure, be pumping out more information here soon. But you guys who are on the stream, I guess you're the first people, according to Lee, to hear that this thing's even coming down the pipe. So that's pretty exciting.
It has been leaked.
It has been leaked.
And it's been, I'm so pumped about it.
Yeah.
It's
So, I mean-
been, it's like I'm fired up. I really believe in it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
No, it's
effective.
amazing.
Well, we don't want people to just come to a conference
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
put on a concert. That's not the goal here. It's really for them to walk away going, we're like better because we came here.
Yeah.
And thus our church is connecting with God in a more powerful way, and we're more effective at home.
Yeah.
The team gets along better. The attitudes, it's all that
Yeah.
stuff, and that
Yeah, it's
to
so
me is a
cool.
great way to have kingdom impact, because obviously, you know, it's we can't be everywhere at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
And so to help people be better at what they do is awesome.
Amazing.
To me.
All right, so Light Conference coming in February. You'll get some more details. Want to just thank everybody who's tuned in for this live stream, wherever you're at. Thank you so much for being a part of this, having lunch with us. Want to thank Integrity and DCC, Scott Sanchez, and those cool guys that are over there, man. Want to thank the band for being here, and Link. So, yeah. Anyone else I'm missing? Other than that, all right.
Yeah, and I want to say thanks too, all the people who are supportive, and man, I try to hop on, you know, the different social outlets and read your comments, read your encouragement, and it's awesome. I know sometimes you feel like you're probably typing and then hitting send into blank space, and but those words of encouragement mean a lot, and so please pray for me and us, and we really have a heart to serve you guys and do the best job we can. So I'm gonna keep it going.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll do this again. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.